Okay, time to do my Strikeforce Fedor versus Werdum review. So many people are coming out of the woods, I guess you could say, out of the woodworth, and talk about this. And I'm gonna be one of them. Why not? I'm gonna go through the whole card, not just talk about Fedor losing. Even though that's going to be the majority of what I talk about. But yeah, so first fight of the night we saw was Josh Thomson versus Pat Healy, and Healy did a pretty good job. I definitely gave him the first round. Well, in my mind, you could have gave Thomson the first round because he was the multiple submission attempts, but in the judges' eyes, the uneducated judges that we see so many times probably would have given that round to Pat Healy, because he was on top majority of that round. The second round I had to give it to Healy, so at that point in my eyes I had a 1-1. Judges could have possibly had a 2-0 already, and Thomson had to finish it, and that's what he did. He finished the fight in a great fashion, getting the back of Pat Healy, and Healy hung in there for a long time, and I thought maybe he could do something to get out of it. Looked like there was some space on the left side, and maybe Pat Healy could do something, but Thomson finished it. Third round, rear naked choke, and great performance by great showing of his jiu-jitsu skills for Thomson. But I was impressed with Pat Healy also. So yeah. Next fight was Christine. How do you say it first name? Isn't it like Christine? I know it's in English it's Christina, but it's like Christian Cyborg Santos versus Jan Feeney, and yeah, it was just the fight should have got stopped in the first round. A lot of people were booing when the referee took the point away, but I thought that was fine because there was in the replay multiple shots to the back of the head, and it wasn't that Cyborg was trying to get around. She was blatantly punching the back of the head. And if you rewatch it, the fight, if you have recorded or anything, but if you rewatch it, you can definitely see that the referee did warn Cyborg multiple times, and she still continued to do it. So the point deduction really didn't matter. I mean, it was going to be a 9-9 round, and if somehow the fight continued and went to a decision, I think Cyborg definitely was winning the second and probably would have won the third. But I thought just the dominance, the strength, the damage that Cyborg did to Jan was just horrible, and the fight should have stopped in the first round. I think the referee gave Jan Feeney way too many chances to defend, and I mean it was just brutal. But another great performance by Cyborg. I think Erin Tohill, I mean, if she gets like a warm-up fight and then fights Cyborg, then I could see that. But I think, to be quite honest, I think Erin Tohill is probably the only woman fighter that could probably beat Cyborg. And that's even stretching it too. So, but you gotta be impressed with Cyborg. She's amazing. Onto the rematch: Scott Smith versus Kung Lee. Lee looked great. I mean, he looked great at the weigh-in. He looked great on the fight. He showed patience this time. I was very impressed with Lee in this fight. A lot of people might not be because he wasn't really as flashy as he usually is, but he showed that he has patience and that he learned his lesson in the last fight. So I was very impressed with Kung, and I thought it was a great performance. And Scott Smith, he's a journeyman. I mean, he's not a can, as a lot of people are saying, but I mean he's a journeyman. He's a person that you can test up and comers on. So I mean, yeah, that's how I see Scott Smith. On to the main event: Fedor Emelianenko versus Fabricio Werdum. And like I said in my predictions video, if this a lot of people were taking Werdum really lightly and saying he has no shot. I mean, some of the people who make videos constantly, MMA Insight. I know MMA Professor. He twittered saying if it goes to the ground, Werdum has a good shot at winning. I know EB Dub returns. He said the same thing. If it hits the ground, Werdum has a great shot. But majority of the people on YouTube were like, no, what are you guys talking about? Fedor is dominant. If it goes to the ground, he's just gonna pound out Werdum. And apparently he didn't, because Fabricio showed his excellent world-class jiu-jitsu skills and submitted the last emperor, Fedor Emelianenko. I'm not going to bash Fedor. Fedor is still... No one from his loss to TK, from his loss to Saturday, no one has been that dominant. Not Anderson Silva, not George St. Pierre, definitely not Brock Lesnar. No one has been that dominant in his division like Fedor was. So Fedor is still the king. I mean, he lost. Every fighter loses, this is his first official loss. I don't really count his loss to TK as a loss, and this is his first official loss. And I think Fedor's going to come back from it, and he's going to dominate. Who are they going to give him? I really think they're going to give him someone that they can hit, that really has like a no shot like they have been doing. But I'm excited to see Werdum versus Overeem if that happens, because I think a lot of people are going to pick Overeem and they're going to underestimate Werdum again. And I'm probably going to pick Werdum over Overeem just because his dominant jiu-jitsu. I mean, I really... the thing about Overeem is that he has good jiu-jitsu skills. He's a strong fighter, but sometimes he's not the smartest fighter. You know, when he fought Brett Rogers, we all know Brett Rogers he's stand-up fighter, has nothing on the ground off his back. Obviously, Werdum has something off his back, and he can take punishment pretty well. So, I'm excited to see that fight if that does happen. Fabricio Werdum versus Alistair Overeem. I think a lot of people are going to be overlooking Werdum again, and I think it'll be a mistake. I picked Fedor to win, but you know, I mean, yeah, you really don't pick against Fedor. And so, I mean, Fedor loses, but you know, hey, everyone loses. Get over it. And you know, I mean, I wasn't a Fedor fan until his fight against Brett Rogers, and then I became a fan. So, I mean, yeah, I just think, you know, a lot of people are bashing Fedor online, and I mean, there's no need for it. I mean, what are people going to do? Because so many people online are right now like, oh, Brock Lesnar's #1 heavyweight. So what if Shane Carwin beats Brock Lesnar? What are you going to do then? You know, I mean, you know, every fighter loses. I think Brock has holes in his game. Fedor obviously has holes in his game. Anderson Silva has holes in his game. Every fighter has holes in their game, and you just got to figure it out. Like Lyoto Machida, everyone thought he was unbeatable. Shogun figured it out. I mean, you just give it time. Someone's gonna figure out how to beat someone, and tonight was Werdum's night, and he beat Fedor. So there you go. There's my. I think I ran out of time, so I'm gonna have to redo this. But if not, there's my review for Strikeforce. I don't like M-1, so I don't really announce it, but it was a Strikeforce M-1 co-promotion. I think M-1's kind of the one blocking Fedor to come to UFC. But hey, that's just me. So there you go. There's my Strikeforce / M1 Fedor vs. Werdum review. I thought it was a great night. Great win for Werdum. And a great other fights. I mean, it was Kung Lee looked great. Cyborg looked great. And Josh Thomson, Pat Healy was a great fight. So there you go. There's my review. Adios. Good night. Have a great day.